All right, at this time, we're going to go into additions and deletions. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead to presentations, awards, and reports. First presentation we have up is from the Volusia County Hispanic Association. They're going to present the city with a check. The commissioners want to meet me in the bottom, and then we're going to stay there also for the parade winners, and that's it.
Can you hold this? Should I put this down here? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and members of the community. My name is Elaine Daniels. I serve as the Secretary of the Volusia County Hispanic Association, and it is my honor to be here to present this check to the city of Deltona today on behalf of our president, Cassie Landron, who couldn't make it today. Tonight, Volusia County Hispanic Association is proud to present this $11,000 check. Sorry, I don't have more than two hands. I'm gonna, thank you. To the city of Deltona. This money was raised from the 2025 Mayor's Winter Ball with one clear and unwavering purpose: to support the expansion of the Harris-Saxon building at Harris-Saxon Park, a space that primarily serves the Boys and Girls Club and the many children and families who rely upon it. There has been a lot said about this event, but one thing that we want to make sure that we let the truth, transparency, and results speak for themselves. Scriptures tell us that in Matthew 7, verse 16, you will know them by their fruits. So tonight, the fruit of this effort is right here, real dollars for a real building for real children in our city. This event was never about politics. It was never about campaigns. This was not a city event. It was and always and has been about service. We do this as a voluntary organization. By doing this, this is our way of giving back to our community and doing good and investing in our youth and the future of Deltona. Our organization is guided by faith, integrity, and accountability. So every dollar raised was handled responsibly, ethically, and in alignment with our mission. We stand confidently in that truth. So to those that have supported us in this effort, we thank you. We look forward to next year and how we can better serve our community. And thank you for allowing us to be here and serve and present this.
We got one more. Now we're going to do the recognition of the holiday parade winners. And they're going to, trophies. Here we go.
Trophy for the best band called the Deltona TV.
So best band, if you can hold it, please. We have the Deltona High School Band, the Deltona Brigade, the Blue Brigade. If you can please come up and let's give them a big round of applause.
There's enough trophy for you guys all. Hold on to a piece of it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You want to kind of stand in the middle?
If the rest of the Blue Brigade can please come up. We saw your face. You were... Best Float, Trinity Christian Academy.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, no, please. Best vehicle, the Volusia Jeep Club. Gotta tell us your secret on how they light them all up.
Congratulations.
Extra batteries.
Somebody's got to get the rubber back.
To your left, the left side. One more. One more. Perfect. Good job.
Was the best dance studio, which is Studio B, but they could not make it, so we're gonna make sure they get there.
So the best dance studio is Studio B. They couldn't make it, and Mark will personally hand deliver that. So thank you, and congrats to all the winners.
Whatever you like.
We did have a presentation on the agenda. Unfortunately, because of unforeseen circumstances, the presenter won't be able to make it. So we are skipping presentation C, and we're going straight to the consent agenda item. And there's none. There's none. They told me that there was none. She just told me not. All right. Is there any public comment on consent agenda items? Go.
Tim Blodgett, please.
Give me 1 minute, Sarah. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Yes, I'd like to pull E and H, please.
Was that E or B?
E as in Edward, H as in Harry.
Thank you.
Got it. Okay.
You have to excuse my vote, being the agenda items. That includes the purchase for a replacement ambulance. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay. As far as that was concerned, I just wanted to say, in keeping with the replacement schedule that was put together a while back, it's long overdue. It's in the best interest of everyone in Deltona that we do this, and it's well worth the investment. And that's about all I wanted to say about that. Go ahead and buy it.
He said buy it. Long overdue.
Okay, Commissioner Nobby, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to go ahead and pull C. for
C is in
discussion.
Charlie. All right. I need,
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
go ahead. And FYI for PIO, none of my controls are working on this machine. On the machine, none of them, I can't see requests, nothing is working, so just FYI. Go ahead, Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through I, excluding C, E, and H.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet to approve consent agenda items A through I, excluding C as in Charlie, E as in Echo, H as in House. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santiago. Is there any discussion? If not, let's go ahead and, can you please go for a vote? Motion passes 6-0. At this time, we'll go in alphabetical order. Commissioner Novik, you chose to pull C as in Charlie. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. For clarification, are we using the iPads for request to speak, or nothing's working?
It's supposed to be the machine, but they're
That's
not working.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not using anything, just raising our hand. Okay. I 100% support the purchase of this unit. It is, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be about a 2-year build? Correct, 18 to 24 months. Okay. My only question is, with the amount of runs and the increase that we've seen from 2024 to the 2025 numbers, I highly recommend that we find the money to order 2 units with this purchase and not just the one, because by the time we take delivery of this and we take delivery of the other unit that we've already ordered, we're going to be needing 2 more units. So with the extended amount of build time on these units that we currently are seeing, which will probably increase by the time we place the next order to either 2.5 to 3 years, we should seriously consider this being 2 units that we purchase, and we move the money accordingly. And I see the money man's coming up right now. It's just because of the build time that takes so long. We're already behind the 8 ball. He constantly has units that are in maintenance, and we're in backup units now. Our backup units are several years old, so it's a step-down process. As we get a new unit, the chief takes an older unit and pushes it towards a reserve unit, a backup that they can go into when they have a mechanical issue or they're due for maintenance or whatever. So if there's a way that we can find the money, Mr. Manager and Mr. Finance Director, I would highly recommend that we place an order for 2 units as soon as possible, not just the one. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. We have Commissioner Howington that was on here first, and please, to the dais, forgive me, they just fixed it, so it's, I got it written down in the order I saw you guys putting in. So we got Commissioner Howington, who's already on, and then we're going to go to Commissioner Harriet, and then Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Navik, I would support that. It's not like you want to put up for this motion, I would second
Let's try that.
So I would support this. There we go. I do believe it's something that we need to do, and as we know, later on this evening, we're going to be discussing the moratorium, and these are the types of things that the pause on development was intended to help us move forward with. We have situations that have to be dealt with, and we have a growing population. We have between 4,000 and 5,000 new housing units coming into this community in a very short period of time. And so with that, I completely agree that we do need more, but I would like to ask that we go to the county and ask them to give us more transport ability with that purchase. I know that I've spoken to the county manager, and he was amenable to having the conversations. I think that we just need to go and start those conversations with them. Thank you.
Can you test your microphone, please, just to make sure it works?
Is it working?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Commissioner Harriet, and then Vice Mayor Vila Vasquez. And PIO, I still can't approve them to speak. So it's made it a little bit worse.
I can talk.
Here you go, Harriet. Just pass my mic over.
I can talk really loud.
No, you need the mic.
We can pass the.
Oh, here we go. I got it. Go ahead. We got it. I think the microphones are mixed around. That's why.
Can we just get a microphone?
All right, hold on. Wait, stop. Harriet, that is your microphone. That's why it's not working. They haven't mixed up here. That's fine.
No, this is mine. I think that's his.
All right.
Mine said Howington on it.
Harriet.
This works.
It says Harriet. What does this say on yours?
Vice Mayor. Go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So my
This is
question
Vice Mayor.
for the fire chief, what is the next oldest unit? I understand that this unit that we're replacing is fairly old and rather frequently visits our fleet maintenance. I'll say it's unreliable. I know that's not the official position, but I'll say that. So what would our next oldest unit, what's the age of that unit?
Right now we're replacing the 2009, and then we'll be replacing the 16, and I believe after that is no, that's one we're replacing.
So this agenda item is for the
15.
2009?
Is that right, Adam? 16.
So
15, 16.
So this agenda item is for what year?
The 2016.
2016? Okay, and then in presumably next budget cycle, it would be the 2015?
Correct.
From an operational standpoint and a level funding strategy for fleet replacement?
So just
Would it-
just to add a little bit, so our fleet adjustment got adjusted last year.
Yes.
Last year, so we're kind of adjusting to that as we go. And then we also have to plan for if we do put a fourth transport in service, so that's also part of the plans also. Yes, that is the plan.
I would like to see this come back as soon as we have an opportunity to see what a fourth transport looks like. If we get approval for that, then 100% support that plan. My concern is, and it should be no shock to anybody that I vehemently support the fire department, but my concern is if we start replacing multiple units each year or in a given year, and then we go a couple years without replacing units, then they're all going to come back for replacement and at the end of their life together.
We have them on the 5-year plan.
Okay.
Marched out on the 5-year plan.
Okay, so we're good. Rather than just replacing 2 units right now, we can replace this 1 unit.
The real problem was that they were bunched up because we went into the transport business.
Yep.
So we kind of had older units that were bunched up, and we're just working our way through them. And this should get us
It sounds like
almost there.
This unit should solve a lot of that
Yes.
bundling problem.
Correct.
Okay. So we're good, then we don't need to necessarily replace multiple units right now. We've got a good level funding strategy. And then if
27, right?
we do have approval for additional transport units from the county, then we can address the need for additional units at that point.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Commissioner Santiago, and I'll go to the city manager right after.
If I could just throw in, we have a meeting, I believe, in the next week with the county to discuss transport, so.
Thank you.
Just bring that to the commission's attention.
I didn't press the button, but I'm in full support.
Got it. The only thing I would add to that really quick is, we saw the chart that the fire department has brought us in certain areas that are very critical. And in your meeting with the county, just remind them that this game of not giving us another transport because it affects who gets paid and who doesn't, I am willing to not listen to the county on that aspect because the lives of my residents are more important than what they get paid in an insurance payment. So if they want to play this game, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I speak for myself, but I'm sure the others on this dais will put the life of their residents before the back and forth. So just FYI. Commissioner Harriet, and then we'll go to a vote.
Just a real quick comment on that. Transports don't pay for themselves. This is an enhanced service that we all expect from living within a city. So the argument that this is cost effective for the county is, and I'll put it on a limb, it's not a viable argument. This is not. We don't want transports because it covers the cost. Transport revenue doesn't cover the cost of the actual operation. This is an enhanced service that Deltona residents want because they pay city taxes. So,
Commissioner Nabik?
The the transport not only benefits the people of Deltona, but it benefits the surrounding community. We routinely transport, as the closest unit, we routinely transport for other communities, Enterprise, Osteen, New Smyrna Beach in some cases. And the wear and tear on these units, they're nonstop during the day. So my motion is to go ahead and direct the city manager to find the funds to order 2 units with this purchase.
There's a motion by Commissioner Nabik for 2 units to be ordered, and Commissioner Howington, you're up next.
I'll second that.
With a second by Commissioner Howington. All right, can we please go for a vote?
Is it coming on the iPad? Okay.
Motion passes 6-0. At this time, we're going to go to letter E for Echo. Commissioner or Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, you have the microphone.
Thank you, Mayor. So I would like someone to give a little explanation about this item. Somebody called me and questioned, what does that mean? They weren't sure, they were a little bit nervous, about their tax bill and how this affects it. So if somebody can come up and give an explanation on this.
Please call me.
And how does this affect, if anything, the residents?
Commission, Vice Mayor. So several years ago, back in 2021, the commission passed a similar agreement for the Volusia County property appraiser. Subsequently, we now have several additional constitutional officers, the sheriff, tax collector, et cetera. So when we put the new potential fire assessment fee out there, and we had to provide the appropriate notice to both the property appraiser and the tax collector, the tax collector said, whoa, we haven't done an interlocal agreement with us since he became a constitutional officer. This is only to put in that interlocal agreement with the tax collector, as they're the agency that collects the ad valorem proceeds and non-ad valorem proceeds. Nothing more. It doesn't change our level of service, nothing. It just puts in that appropriate interlocal agreement.
And it does not increase anybody's taxes?
Not at all. We're already paying the fee.
Thank you. That was the question that was asked. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I make a motion to approve item E on the consent agenda.
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez. Commissioner Howington, you're on the floor.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Howington. Commissioner, okay. Can we please go for a vote? Motion passes 6-0. This time we go back to Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez for H as in house.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I would like to find out, who is exactly is purchasing this property? All we have is initials, BNGA LLC. And do we know, if any, their plans for the property?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor. So BNGA LLC is the Halpins and Mr. Schweitzer, and they're building an industrial project within the activity center. No plans have been submitted to date.
So this property is within the activity center, meaning by Howland Boulevard?
Correct. It's right by Synergy, the Synergy project. It's 5,488 square feet. It's landlocked, has no use for the city purposes.
Okay.
And the appraised value is $9,900. They're going to pay the appraisal fee and closing costs.
And as far as we know right now, we don't know what the plans are of what they're building there.
It's going to be an industrial project, but nothing's been submitted to the city. We're going to have they said they're going to have a pre-app probably within the next month or so.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Nabik,
Motion to approve item H.
Commissioner Harriet.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Nabik to approve and a second by Commissioner Harriet. If we can please do a vote. Motion passes 5-1. Okay, at this time, we're going to go into ordinances and public hearings. If I can please have the city attorney read the 8 A's in alpha.
Thank you so much, Mayor. This is ordinance number 022026, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending the general ordinances, Chapter 66, Traffic and Vehicles, to update regulations related to micromobility devices in accordance with Florida statutes, providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. This is first reading.
All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion and a second, and then we'll go into public comment. Vice Mayor, you were up. Did you want to do the motion?
No, I have a question.
Okay. Commissioner Harriet, did you want to do a motion? Yes. Go ahead, Commissioner Harriet.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 020-2026, amending Chapter 66, Traffic and Vehicles, establishing regulation regarding micromobility devices at first reading, with updates to come at second reading, further restricting the use of e-bike devices to those under 18.
All right, we have a motion.
Do I need?
We have a
the
motion
attorney,
by,
do I need to go into more detail on what changes?
No, I understand that you want the age of restriction to be raised from 16 to 18 for e-bikes. Is that correct?
For vehicles over 750 watts.
For vehicles over 750 watts. Yes, sir.
okay.
And then that they stay off of the roadway, have to be on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's sufficient.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet. Is there a second?
You're asking it to be...
Hold on, because Vice Mayor is first. Harriet, can you please, Commissioner Harriet, can you clarify what, your microphone's on? It's on. Can you clarify for this, so someone can make it second, what you're trying to accomplish?
What clarification would you like?
The age limit.
So right now, I believe the way that it's written, anybody over the age of 16 but under the age of 18 has to ride on the street in the bicycle lane. And I think in light of everything that's gone on, specifically in District 1 and the accidents that we've seen across the city, we need to be more restrictive with this ordinance, specifically to those, and I'm going to refer to them as vehicles, but those bicycles that have enough power to go rather fast and cause problems, create traffic accidents, and take people's lives. So I'd like to see the vehicles with enough power to go 30, 40, 50 miles an hour outlawed, and that those true e-bikes that are just power assist bicycle type devices restricted to the sidewalk and get them away from cars.
Okay, is there a second? You want Commissioner Howington?
I'll second, but I'd like to ask, can we include to be an appropriate bike lane? Sidewalk or bike lane?
For those over...
Your microphone's off.
Yeah, not changing anything else to what you put forward, just adding it to include bike lanes with.
If they're old enough? Yes, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Would you like to go ahead and just amend that?
I'll amend the motion to include a...
She has it.
Yeah, a clarification. Old enough as in,
They're over 18.
if they are over 18,
They can ride on the sidewalk or in the bike lane. I think that's what you were getting at, right?
Bike lane and.
In the roadway. However, if they're over 18, then they can follow motorcycle laws.
over 18 bicycle lane and sidewalk. Not motorcycle laws.
Bicycles.
Bicycle lane
Thank you.
and sidewalk. Under 18 sidewalk.
Limited to the size.
Can we just move forward with what we have in writing tonight, and between first and second reading, get your amendments taken care of? Because this is getting very confusing on what we're actually voting on. I'd like to see it in writing. I agree with you 100% where you're trying to go. We could write it between first and second reading to address all of your concerns, and then come back and pass it on second reading. Would you be agreeable to that, so we have it in black and white?
If that's agreeable with city attorney's office, I'm okay with that.
Commissioner, happy to do that. That sounds great. Thank you both.
Okay?
So the city clerk doesn't... Kill me, can you... Hold on, stop. Everybody turn off your mics really quick. Go ahead, turn on your mic really, because nobody can hear you, and the public needs to hear you. Go ahead.
So I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 02-2026, amending chapter 66, traffic and vehicles, establishing regulation regarding micro-mobility devices at first reading.
Okay.
And between now and then, we'll update the changes.
Commission, there's a motion on the floor to approve by Commissioner Harriet. Is there a second? Commissioner Howington seconds the motion. Now we're going to open it up for public comment, and then we'll go to discussion.
Tim Blodgett, please.
Mr. Blodgett, you'll have to click on the button, please.
Okay. I don't want to stomp on anybody's parade here, but I think you all need to go back and review SB 462, which was recently renewed in 2025-149. Anyway, aside from that, I did read it all over, and they've already made adjustments that include this. I think what you're doing is trying to pass an ordinance that is based on last year's state regulations. And they've already figured out a lot of the language. That isn't what I really came here to talk about. What I came here to talk about is what I'm sitting on is considered a micro-conveyance. And according to this, I'm illegal. I'm not supposed to be on the sidewalks. I'm supposed to be out in the street. Yeah, that'd work out really well. Under the ADA, you're not allowed to what's the term I'm looking for? You're not allowed to qualify if somebody is disabled or not, and you're not allowed to regulate what they decide to use for an alternative conveyance. So if I wanted to take a Hemi engine and put a skate on the bottom of it, and I want to call that my mobility conveyance, there's really nothing anybody can say about it. It's protected by federal law. Now, I guess you can add this to Gemma's pile of things to look at. But in the point where it gets down to, it says, and 50 pounds in weight or less, I want to remind you, the travel scooters that they have, the smallest pieces are the ones that they take apart into 3 pieces so you can travel, is 60 to 80 pounds. So this state law, or what you plan on adding here, copy and pasting, is already wrong. But anyway, what I would suggest you do is at that point where it talks about and 50 pounds in weight or less, rewrite it or add the phrase and exclude those with disabilities under the ADA, period. And that'll take care of part of your problems. You guys got quite a mess with the rest of it. Have a good night.
Kathy Bryan, please.
Good evening, Kathy Bryan. I got questions. You're talking about cutting the age from 16 up to 18, but yet folks with driver's kids at 16 have driver's license. So I'm not sure why the difference in age. The other thing is, and I'm glad Mr. Blodgett brought up the ADA point, but when you start having kids ride these things down sidewalks, they don't pay attention. And I'm concerned that you're going to have people getting run over by them. I'm also curious, so this is just, we're talking about electric bikes, essentially. What about four-wheelers and other motorized vehicles that I see kids riding on all the time through neighborhoods? They don't pay any attention to the traffic laws. They don't have on helmets. I've had them pull out straight in front of me before. So is there a reason that that cannot be included in this as well? Because like I said, I have a lot of concerns with the way, and I get it. I said sometimes something happens and there's a knee-jerk reaction. But really think about the wide scope of this and what the consequences of what you decide are going to be. We all want everybody to be safe, but I also think maybe we need to get some more education out there about the use of helmets, the traffic laws, et cetera. And, of course, parents these days, they're my kid. I don't care. My kid's fine until they're not. So I really think about this, and I just don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of kids riding on the street with the bikes, but I don't like the idea of them going down the sidewalk either. And the ADA stuff is one of those reasons. So thank you.
That is public comment.
Thank you. I'll go to Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. So what I was trying to say, in between every other interruption, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I was thinking was set up by the residents. This is, from what I'm listening to me, it seems like to be breaking a lot of ADA rules. How do you restrict riding your electric bike or whatever just on sidewalks versus street by age? Is it just strictly e-bikes, or does that also give permission for golf carts, right? They're considered, to me, micro mobility as well.
It doesn't fit the legal definition of weight.
Guys, you haven't been recognized. Vice Mayor is still speaking.
Thank you. So, I mean, we need to really look at all this stuff before we make all these decisions by age, on the sidewalk, not on the sidewalk. Who do we kick out of the sidewalk, I don't know, I just feel like we're gonna be breaking rules if we jump into this and agree to all these terms on this, without really looking, comparing it to ADA, because, you know, like Mr. Blodger said, there's a lot of ADA rules that might not fit into what we're looking at right now. And we might be breaking, and I think the city has been charged and sued enough for breaking ADA rules. So I think we need to look at this real good before we make decisions. Thank you, Mayor.
I would only add, and because nobody else is on the board, but I would only add, have we looked at what, I think it was Winter Springs or Winter Garden, what they just passed?
So we did not look at Winter Springs or Winter Garden. This was prepared in accordance with the request of the commission back in August of last year. We did look at Manatee County. Certainly, it is not the city's position that this violates ADA. We are happy to ensure that that's not the case. This is a section that's going to be added to our existing code. So between now and second reading, I'm happy to just give you an analysis that talks about all the definitions and the carve-outs. Certainly, this is not going to impact those who have an ADA accommodation. But happy to just provide a little analysis between now and then, and we can include it with the second reading in addition to the changes. And just to sort of step back more broadly, and again, this was a discussion you all had, and we prepared this in response to that and at your direction. You know, this is really more drilling down on, and this happens more and more where there's a lot of tourism, but it is spilling out where companies like Uber have these companies called like Bird and Lyft, where they have these like scooters. Orlando has them all over. Like it's like a scooter that has a motor, and they go very quickly. And so when you talk about like this weight limit, this under 50 pounds, it's really trying to target these types of micro-mobility devices, which you tend to be able to like rent with your credit card. They just like park them on the side of the road. Anyone can go up with their little credit card, hop on this scooter and scoot around. And just to sort of step back broadly, the proliferation of accidents from these scooters has been astronomical. The medical community has a lot of feelings about this. Emergency medicine in particular has a lot of feelings about electric bikes and electric scooters. And I will tell you that when the legislature created the statute that allowed us to create our ordinance, they looked at this traffic safety data from 2020 through 2022, and the high level of pedestrian fatalities. And so as a result of that, they wanted to give local government the option to regulate and create more safety on their streets for both the drivers and the pedestrians and the users of the scooters, who are candidly the ones that are most at risk. And so when you think about the age, you know, I think that's partly why, you know, the age is something to consider, which I think you reasonably have. So we're happy to provide an analysis between first and second reading to address the ADA concerns, and happy to talk about this section integrated into the larger code, which it will be a part of, and talk about that. But certainly it is not the intent to have any violation of ADA or address those types of issues. It's really more drilling down on those types of electric scooters, and then the bikes, which also go quite quickly and, you know, can often are operated by children.
So, Mr. Sylvia, to finish my point, can we be very explicitly clear on the definitions? Because I don't want this affecting my residents that have any type of ADA issues. And also, can we get a copy to the rest of the commission? Essentially what Winter Garden did. I think that could be a good stepping stone for us, but unless it's absolutely necessary and we're foreseeing all these scooters coming, I know which ones you're talking about. I just don't want to start creating bad law because, you know, in my opinion, we already have one still lingering over us. So,
Mayor, point taken. And I mean, Again, there is language within the larger section 66 of the code, but we can, I mean, there's language that we can add that just says
Just
that
clear definitions,
it
that's all I'm looking
precludes
for.
those with mobility issues, ADA. So we're happy to drill it down to this section and clarify the larger section, which does protect those with ADA. Understood.
Thank you. So there is a motion on the floor and a second. If I can please have the city attorney read it again, and we'll go ahead into a vote.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance number 02-2026, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending the general ordinances, Chapter 66, Traffic and Vehicles, to update regulations related to micromobility devices in accordance with Florida statutes, providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. This is first reading. Between first and second reading, we will make the revisions as requested by the commission, and we will also provide more clarifying language to ensure the residents' rights are protected.
Motion passes 6-0. This time, we're going to go to Section 8B as in boy. If I can please have the city attorney read the ordinance.
Thank you so much, Mayor. This is ordinance number 36-2025, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending Section 110-814, additional regulations for certain permitted principal uses and structures of Chapter 110, zoning, and Chapter 44, administration of the Land Development Code, updating procedures and regulations related to certified recovery residences in compliance with Florida statutes, providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date.
All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion and then a second so we can go into the presentation. Commissioner Nabik.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 36-2025 at first reading.
There's a motion by Commissioner Nabik. Commissioner Harriet.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harriet. If we can please have Mr. Smith go ahead with your presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. So before you is ordinance number 26-2025 regarding certified recovery residences. This ordinance updates the Land Development Code to comply with new state law. The purpose of this ordinance is threefold. First, it establishes a clear approval process for certified recovery residences. Second, it ensures compliance with Senate Bill 954 and federal housing laws. And third, it creates a reasonable accommodation procedure as required by law. The recovery residence provides alcohol and free drug housing with peer support. They serve individuals in recovery who are protected under state and federal disability laws. And the legislator now requires all cities to adopt procedures by January 1st, 2026 per Senate Bill 954. The ordinance sets clear objective standards in residential neighborhoods. The occupancy is limited to 6 residents plus a house manager, so no more than 7. No more than 2 residents are allowed per bedroom, and a 1,000-foot spacing requirement applies between recovery residences and community residential homes. And all facilities must be properly licensed or certified. Residents must participate in recognized recovery programs. Alcohol and illegal drugs are prohibited. Sexual offenders are not permitted to reside at these facilities. A house manager must live on site and enforce house rules, and written visitation policies are required. In terms of parking, off-street parking is required at a rate of 1 space per 3 residents plus 1 for the manager. On-street parking by residents or visitors is not permitted, and garages and driveways must remain available for parking. Limited parking relief may be requested through the reasonable accommodation process if justified. In terms of enforcement, the city retains full authority to enforce these standards. Inspections are permitted to ensure compliance. Violations may result in revocation of approval and code enforcement action, and loss of state certification is grounds for revocation. And what are the takeaways of this ordinance? This ordinance provides a legally compliant and transparent process. It balances neighborhood compatibility with fair housing requirements, and it protects public health and safety while supporting recovery housing. The Planning and Zoning Board reviewed the ordinance and voted 7-0 to recommend approval. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance at first reading, and the second reading is scheduled for February 2nd, 2026. Thank you.
Public comment? No public comment. Commissioner Howington, you're up first.
Just a quick question. Is there any way that this would possibly have any potential risk of being sued via SB 180? Because it appears that there's some more restrictive items within this. Is there going to be any risk with that at all?
I'm going to ask Jim of the legal for help with that question.
That seems unlikely. Certainly, we cannot predict what people will do. And again, the most challenging part of SB 180 is that there's no requirement for standing. Anyone can bring any action for any reason on any ordinance, whether they have a legal basis or not, or standing. And so I can't tell you that no one will ever do that. This is, the reason we move this forward, obviously, is compliance with state law. And certainly, there's a general, the general position is that general laws do not conflict with one another. So it would be our position that this should be fine, but we cannot predict the future.
It does appear that there might potentially be a conflict if somebody decides it is more restrictive whether they have standing or not. Sam, here you go. So basically, at this point, we have to approve this by state law, and if we don't, then we have an issue, but we are potentially opening ourselves up to SB 180 claims if somebody without standing deems it to be more restrictive or burdensome. I just want to make sure that we understand what we're doing
Right.
when we have conflicting laws that don't play well together. And so we know this going in, that we are putting ourselves at risk, but we are required to do it. So,
Correct.
thank you.
Commissioner Santiago, you were up next.
Thank you, Mayor. Jordan, you and I spoke, and you know how I felt about this ordinance. I was like, no way, because I think the residents deserve a little bit more information on how this may affect of where they live. But I also understand this is a state law. Adoption is mandatory. But I think what I want to come across is I want to make sure at the second reading, we have some kind of procedure on how somebody who wants to come in and put up a recovery house, how does that work? What is the process? As well as, I know they have to be a certified recovery residence, and as much as there's control allowed by law. And I understand if we do approve it, if we don't approve it, the city loses the ability to apply and enforce reasonable local standards. So by approving it, we're able to have more additional standards added to it, correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Nabik?
Yeah, so one of my concerns with this, and this opens the gateway to additional standards, is when you deal with a group home or an assisted living type of facility, on the life safety side of it, you're constantly evaluating the clients that are in there and what their ability is in terms of mobility and being able to self-evacuate in the event of an emergency. In this case here, we see the requirement that they have one attendant for up to 6 people. Now, if 4 of those 6 people happen to be somehow incapacitated, either by methadone or some physical inability, then what means of protection do we have in place to be able to ensure the life safety component of that occupancy? So I would definitely advocate that I would want to see these fall under a fire sprinkler, residential fire sprinkler requirement, that if they're not, if they take a client that's not able to self-evacuate promptly, and there's a process in the code to do that the fire marshal I know is familiar with, then the requirement would be that it would have to have a residential fire sprinkler system in place. So as we move forward with this, I want to be able to drill down into the life safety component portion of these residences, as well as I have a concern, I think as you do, Commissioner Santiago, about how is this going to affect the surrounding property values, having one of these sober homes move into a neighborhood. What does that do to the residents that are already in that neighborhood, and what might we be able to put in place to help ensure the maintenance of their property values? Is it going to be something, a frequency of sheriff's responses to that location for disturbance, or just what might trigger some type of issue to protect the existing residences are there? This is something the state has mandated. I know that there is legislation that's being worked on currently in Tallahassee to help improve this, and hopefully something more comes out of this session that will tweak this and make it a better situation for our community. I believe these people do need some place to be able to go and transition, but we also have to try and protect them against a bad element that may introduce itself in that situation, and also protect the existing neighborhood where it's going to be housed at. Thank you, Mayor.
Right.
Okay.
Mayor. Just to answer Commissioner Novick, on line 123, we do have a regulation that says must comply with applicable laws, building codes, and fire codes, and inspections will be allowed. So planning will work with the fire services to make sure that everything is good. Thank you.
Commissioner Novick, to address, if I may, through the mayor. You make a very good point about Tallahassee and their attempt to improve this bill. I would urge all of you to reach out to the delegation, because this is a bill that will be challenging, and this will create challenge. I don't want to say will. Very likely will create challenges. It ties our hands. It continues to strip our home rule authority as a local government, as a city. So this is the type of law that severely ties our hands. Maybe will conflict with another general law, but certainly creates a real restriction on the way that you all, as elected officials, regulate your community, and as you're voted in to do. So I would certainly urge you all to. There's a lot of bills that are hot right now, but this is one that I would urge you to speak to your elected delegation about, as well as the public.
Commissioner Novick?
No, I didn't know if she was going to ask me.
All right, if I can please have the city attorney read the ordinance again. We do have a motion by Commissioner Novick and a second by Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We're doing that between now and second reading.
Yeah, we'll just address those between first and second reading and see what happens with this legislative session, too.
Thank you. This is ordinance number 36-2025, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending Section 110-814, additional regulations for certain permitted principal uses and structures of Chapter 110, zoning, and Chapter 44, administration of the Land Development Code, updating procedures and regulations related to certified recovery residences in compliance with Florida statutes, providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. And the City Attorney's Office understands that we will make those revisions between first and second reading as discussed by the Commission tonight.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-1. This time, we're going to go to action items. If I can please have the city attorney read action item 9A as an alpha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. This is resolution number 2025-169, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, adopting a revised master fee schedule of fines, fees, costs, and/or penalties, and various administrative fees relating to the City of Deltona Code of Ordinances, providing for conflicts, severability, scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
This time I'll entertain a motion in a second so we can see the presentation and go to public comment.
Yeah, but where is it? Oh, got it. There you go.
Commissioner Harriet?
I'm not ready to make a motion, but I'd like to get consensus to see the presentation before we need to make a motion on this item.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mayor, Commission, I'd like to introduce Brian Mance with GovRates. He is the one who completed the utility rate study for water, wastewater, irrigation, and reclaim utility rates.
Well, good morning, or I'm sorry, good evening, commissioners, members of the public, staff. My name is Brian Mance from GovRates, and I'm here to present, of course, the results of the water and wastewater rate study. This is the first formal rate study that has been completed since the last one was in 2021. Basically, the utility provides an essential service on a continuous basis where public health and safety is a top priority. It's highly regulated by the FDP and Department of Health, and permits require full compliance.
If I can just ask you to speak directly to the microphone, please. It makes it easier for the residents to hear you.
Yeah, that might be better. So because I can't see the PowerPoint on this.
It's on already.
Okay.
The light is green.
Okay. So it's the Water and Wastewater Fund is an enterprise fund where the operations are primarily funded through user rates, and you currently provide service to about 36,500 water accounts and 7,500 wastewater accounts and 1,750 reclaimed water accounts. A lot more water than wastewater accounts. And you got a lot of utility infrastructure under city management, which is often out of sight, out of mind. They're about $200 million in installed cost of assets, which would be much higher if adjusted to today's dollars. So you got substantial utility renewal and replacement needs, and I've heard a lot of comments tonight about your utility infrastructure, and certainly the longer the city defers necessary renewals and replacements, the higher the cost to ratepayers. We've recognized about $172.8 million of critical capital reinvestment needs through 2030. The good news is that the largest project, the Fisher Advanced Water Treatment Upgrade, you received 50% grant funding on that, which will really help. But of course, the city has to finance the rest of it, and that requires that your rates be sufficient to be able to support that debt. You also got 100% grant funding for the citywide septic to sewer program. Another issue is substantial operating expense increases. Utilities have limited control over a lot of the operating expense increases, which are driven by global market forces. There's nationwide issues with filling positions and keeping employees, and certainly it's critical to have a well-trained staff. Usually, because of the regulatory environment, the utility costs increase at a higher rate than the consumer price index. And it's a key takeaway is that permanent increases in costs must ultimately be passed through to customers by rate increase. As far as the funding of the capital program, where most of it would be through, it's a kind of a balance of rate revenues and operating reserves and additional grant proceeds, but also we have water and wastewater impact fees. As far as the adjustments, we're looking at about 6% adjustments. The city has historically done CPI adjustments. We would ask for a little bit more than that to be able to fund this capital program. As I mentioned, utility costs tend to increase at a higher rate than the CPI. For water service, and again, it's important to recognize that water, 80% of the customers only have water service, and only 20% of the customers have water and wastewater service. So for 80% of the customers, that's an increase in the customer bill of less than $2 in fiscal year 2026. For wastewater, for both water and wastewater service, that's about a $9 increase. And again, that's 20% of the customers. Under both scenarios, the EPA considers 4.5% of median household income to be the affordability threshold for water and wastewater rates, and we're well below that threshold for both water service and water and wastewater service. And also, if you look at the cost per gallon of service, 3 to 4 cents, compare 3 to 4 cents per gallon of water and wastewater service to the cost per gallon of other commodities like bottled water, and that really helps to communicate the value of water and wastewater service. Here I show some recent rate increase activity of other Florida utilities. You can see that actually Deltona's increases are a lot lower than what some other utilities have been dealing with. Groveland recently had a 1-year increase of 40%. One of the reasons why Deltona's increases are moderate is that the city has gradually over time increased the rates instead of having a one-time adjustment. It's just these gradual increases over time, because you don't want to be, every time I've dealt with a utility that has dealing with a 95% adjustment for a utility that hasn't increased the rates in 10 years, I always get the same response from the governing body. Gosh, I wish that we had just gradually increased these rates over time. But as far as the water bill comparison, you can see that Deltona is kind of in the mix of where everyone is. A key takeaway is that just about all the utilities on this chart are currently evaluating their rates, or they're involved in a rate study. So the takeaway is that as these other communities increase their rates, Deltona's rates will continue to be competitive. The water and wastewater rates, again, 20% of the customer base. Deltona is on the high end, but as I mentioned, these rates do meet all affordability criteria. And of course, it's not a report card on how well a utility is performing, because there are a lot of different reasons why rates differ among utility. It's a discussion point, but it's not a report card. And the most important thing is to make sure that you're able to, through your rates, address your infrastructure issues. Our impact fees, we're recommending about a $2,585 per equivalent residential connection increase, which is, and as you can see that with the existing and the proposed, we're competitive with those of other local governments. So our recommendations is to adopt the proposed user rate adjustments, which are necessary to address critical capital needs, and again, we also need them to be able to, for the city to do its part of the financing that's 50% grant funded. Also to adopt the proposed capital charges or impact fees, which are competitive and help to reduce the need for future rate adjustments, and help to reduce the need to finance capital improvements, and to monitor capital costs and financial results and adjust the rate plan as needed, because certainly, the capital costs are certainly subject to change.
Thank you. Can we go to public comment, please?
Gail Barr, please.
Or if you can just click on the mic, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I understand that everything goes up in price, and if we're going to be paying more, will we get behind? He came back yesterday and he said, well, the numbers really aren't right. He was going to show it to someone else. And today I can smell chlorine. So I don't know what else. I mean, we know that there is so much junk in our water. Is that going to be coming out? Is it going to be filtered better? Are we going to be able to use the water, or is just the price going to go up? Do we get fluoride in our water? I don't know, besides whatever the chemicals that we have, besides chemicals, what else is in there that we know is bad for us? And are we getting the true reading when they're monitoring this? I don't believe we are, because I know I have chlorine in my water. So something definitely needs to be done, not just raise our rates and give us water. Yeah, we have water, but it's really, it's good to water the grass. Is it good for our plants, good for making coffee, good to bathe in? I don't think so, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that I think Deltona's water is awful.
Tim Blodgett, please.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly where I should start with all this. I like to see analytics. I like to see graphs. I'd say 95% of the time I look at a graph, I see 10 things that other people haven't even looked at. And I see them really quick. And the other thing I saw with this really fast was the municipalities that had the lowest cost were those who can sink a well and get fresh water out of it. Everybody else is further away. And I think I figured that out in about 5 seconds. Just imagine if I could have sat down and examined this. Now, aside from that, you guys have done a really great job of speeding things up. I mean, talking specifically about the budget, our ability to get the budget and the information out to people to stick to deadlines has been, in comparison to your predecessors, outstanding. Now, I understand that we're seeing this now because, and it didn't make the last budget because it's been so tardy. And the main takeaway I'm getting from this is, next time we need to take a look at this, let's do it on time so we're not so rushed. That's it.
David Markle, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. That presentation is a little biased. If you look at the comparison, I mean, Fort Lauderdale was up there. Residents in Deltona aren't making what residents in Fort Lauderdale are making. The cost of living there is a lot more than what it is here in Deltona. But since 2019, Deltona residents have seen water and sewer rates climb by 24.65%. With this 6%, we're moving up to 32. With the projected 6% annual increase through 2030, we're going to be at 57.4% over a 10-year period. These are significant increases, and they warrant a careful look at how our utility is financed and managed. A critical first step is conducting a comprehensive cost service analysis. This allows residents to see exactly what is the cost to provide service of water and sewer, including treatment, operations, staffing, regulatory compliance, maintenance, and capital investments. Transparency cost of service modeling ensures that rates increase are justified by actual system needs rather than applied automatically each year. At the same time, Deltona should be pursuing efficient improvements, reducing system water loss, optimizing plant operations for energy savings, upgrading outdated equipment, and identifying operational redundancies can all meaningfully reduce long-term expenses and slow the rate increase cycle. But perhaps the biggest opportunity lies in alternative funding for capital projects. So the utility doesn't rely almost entirely on the taxpayers. Programs like Clean Water State Revolving Fund and other EPA and state low-interest loans initiatives allow cities to finance infrastructure upgrades at far below commercial interest rates. Deltona can also include or issue municipal bonds which offer lower borrowing costs over long repayment periods and are specifically designed for large-scale public infrastructure needs. Again, rather than putting that cost back on the taxpayer up front. Additionally, the city should aggressively pursue grants from state water management, which we've seen a few, but I'm sure there are others out there. Florida's legislative budget allocates and federal programs such as the Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act program, which can cover a substantial portion of expenses for treatment and pipeline projects without burdening taxpayers. Before committing to a multi-billion-dollar aquifer project, it is essential that we ensure Deltona's existing water treatment system are fully updated, reliable, and compliant. Strengthening the foundation of the current system should be the priority before expanding into new high-cost ventures. Finally, community-wide conservation efforts, including high-efficiency fixtures, leak detection assistance, and tiered rate structures that reward lower usage, can reduce demand and help residents better control their bills. In short, Deltona has options, but using transparent cost of service analysis, improving operational efficiencies, pursuing external funding and grants, and prioritizing upgrades to the current facilities, we can stabilize rates while still meeting the city's long-term infrastructure needs.
Thank you. That ends public comment.
Thank you. At this time, is there a motion on the floor so we can begin discussion? Motion to table, a motion to vote no, a motion to move forward. Commissioner Santiago.
This utility rate study is the fifth year. We've done it this is the third year of a 5-year plan, we bring it every year, correct?
Minus last year. You please push the button so I can.
We got staff coming to the podium. Let's.
There you go.
Yeah, yes, it would be recommended to be done as needed. One of the last speaker mentioned a cost of service. That's what this is. In your agenda materials, you have a pretty large report that basically is a cost of service analysis. And certainly the utility has qualified for grant funding, and the last speaker also mentioned low-cost state revolving fund loans. That's what we've assumed for the financing. And one of the advantages of the state revolving fund loan is that you don't need to start making repayments on the debt until 6 months after construction is completed. So you actually have several years to gradually build the rates up to where they need to be to support the debt. And so that's what we've assumed here, because we want to try and avoid rate shock. We want to have more gradual increases, and I think that's what we've put here. We're not Groveland, which was dealing with a 40% rate adjustment. We're dealing with more gradual adjustments, and I think that's extremely important to note.
Commissioner Santiago, to quickly answer your question, the previous rate study that we did was in 2018. It was implemented in 2019. It went for 5 years. So we did not do an increase last year other than the EPI index. Prior to that, it was 5% each year. So we're 1 year behind already on doing any sort of increase. The capital funds that we're talking about, the previous 5-year period from 2018, we were able to complete 22 capital projects with the funds that were given to us by the users, and those 22 capital projects were for infrastructure improvement, for compliancy, for regulatory purposes, for water quality improvements, all of the things that the residents have spoke about, that is what those funds are used for us to improve the quality of the water that we present. We're always wanting to improve that. As a resident myself, I want to make sure that our residents have the best quality drinking water that we can provide to them with the funds that are given to us. So we constantly do that. We are always in compliance with regulations from the EPA, as well as the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and the St. John's Water Management District. Those are things that are non-negotiable. We have to provide that and provide water that meets the regulatory compliance of what the maximum contaminant levels are. We have to be below them. There's no negotiating on that with those regulatory agencies, and those are things that we exceed in all of our reporting. But we do that with the help of yourselves as well as the ratepayers by the investment that we make back into the infrastructure.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Howington.
I move to deny resolution number 2025-169.
There's a motion by Commissioner Howington to deny. Commissioner Harriet? Commissioner Harriet, did you want to second that? No. Commissioner Nabik, did you want to second that? Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, did you want to second that?
I have a question before that.
Go ahead.
It says on the agenda, the city uses a master fee schedule to establish fees for a variety of services. With the adoption of the final budget by resolution number 2025-134, the master fee schedule that was adopted by resolution 2025-140 on October 20, 2025 did not include the fees incorporated into this resolution, as the rate study had not been completed. So this that we are voting on today did not include what was approved the last time. So this is an additional amount of money that we're adding to what was already approved to be raised.
That is correct. What was approved previously is what was adopted by the fiscal year 25-26 budget. And as I stated at that time, we were almost completing the rate study. So this is only adding to it the utility rates for water, wastewater, irrigation, and reclaimed.
And every resident has a different amount that's going to be increased.
It depends on their monthly usage.
Okay, so this was not approved. This is something new. So I second Dory's, Commissioner Harrington's motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Howington and a second by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez. I do have a couple of commissioners on the board, so we'll go through them and then we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just want to confirm what I think I heard twice, that there was no increase in water or wastewater fees back in October.
That's correct.
Okay. Second, I want to reiterate that this rate study, which is very lengthy, and if it's not part of the public agenda, I think we should absolutely publish it to the website so everybody can see it, because I think it addresses a lot of the questions that have come up tonight. Includes capital improvement projects to do exactly what we heard: increase the water quality, replace the essential components of the infrastructure so that we can actually receive water into our homes, and that it's done in a level funding strategy so that we don't see these 40% increases, nothing for a couple years and then shock, right?
That's correct. We've looked at our capital plan over the next 5 years, and we've said these are what we're going to be doing during that time frame, and we've actually shifted some of those projects around so that we can accommodate them with having the least amount of funding issues, so that we've got the money in the bank, basically. And another thing that I wanted to address for my previous comments, to address a concern regarding fluoride. We don't put fluoride in the water. We've never put fluoride in our water. It's actually been banned by the state of Florida, but the city of Deltona never put it in there because we didn't feel that it was beneficial to the residents. So, thank you.
Thank you. And also, just going to put it out there, I do drink the water in Deltona, although it is not as tasty as some of the mountain spring water that I've had the ability to drink from the Carolinas. It's just municipal tap water. It seems fine. So, thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Nabik.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, so the figure that I heard is 6%, correct? 6% of what? Is that 6% across the board? 6% on the base rate? 6% on the gallonage usage rate? How are we applying that?
6% across the board on all usage rates and base rates.
Okay, so I'm not voting for this tonight because I want to see a breakdown of how we can make it more equitable. Several years ago when I was on the commission, we saw numbers where it broke down. It was more advantageous to raise the same amount of dollars, but to look at putting it on the base rate so that everybody pays it, not just putting it on the usage rate. And at that time, we also took more on the water customers to relieve the sewer customers. So I want to see where we can make that more equitable as we move forward and start to level that playing field back out instead of us supporting from the water side, supplementing the sewer customers. So there's a lot of numbers that can be moved around, and I 100% want to see us maximize the impact fee. I want, we had an issue up here before I came on board where we put a moratorium in place. Well, we've done absolutely nothing as a commission, and that moratorium's getting ready to expire in March. So whatever the intended purpose of that moratorium was, as a commission, we've done nothing to move that forward. Well, one of those tools to help manage growth and slow the growth and give infrastructure a chance to catch up is by significantly raising the impact fees. So whatever your analysis was, it's not high enough. The impact fees definitely need to be raised to the maximum amount to help new customers coming in and growth help pay for itself, as well as putting a good percentage onto the base rate so that everybody pays across the system, because we still have many residents here that are winter residents only, and they pay nothing for usage for the better part of the year, and then when they come down, that's when they start to experience those usage tiers. So the base rate they would pay all year round. So I want to look at increasing the base rate to get you the dollars that you need and minimizing the impact on the usage side, as well as increasing the impact fees.
And just to clarify, the impact fees are part of the package here, and they are calculated. For example, we can't include grant-funded infrastructure into the impact fee calculations. So the ones that are proposed, that the $9,060 that's what we would consider to be the maximum amount that you could justifiably charge based on the multi-year capital plan. And certainly, even if you didn't take action on the user rates tonight, I would certainly recommend taking action on the growth-related fees, because those help to reduce the need for user rate adjustments, to take action on the capital charges and the capital financing recovery fee. As far as the user rates are concerned, one thing I would caution is that a condition for having these grants, for getting these grants, these are 50% match grants. So the city has to pay for the rest. And when you're applying for state revolving fund loan, the SRF loan program will only count when they evaluate your ability to repay the loan. They will only count adjustments because you have to provide a multi-year financial forecast to them. They will only count adjustments that have already been adopted by the commission. Now, what I can tell you is that as a commission, you're always in charge. You can always, this is not something that's set in stone that you need to, that you would need to, that you can't, can never change. But this provides you an ability to move forward with getting these grants and doing your portion of financing the capital program. So I recognize, so again, I would strongly encourage that you move forward on the impact fees. And again, you have $22 million of grant funding that you have to, again, that's a 50% match, and the city has to do its portion. So I think it probably would not benefit the residents to have to give up the grant money because you're not willing to raise the rates for the city to do its 50% share.
Madam Attorney. Madam Attorney.
Yes.
Where do we stand in being able to have a defensible impact fee rate? How high can we go and you can defend it?
So impact fees are governed by statute, and increase of impact fees are governed by statute. It's fairly formulaic. The impact fee study has to support those fees, but there is a statutory cap for increases that basically allows a phase-in over time.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're getting the maximum we can legally get on the impact fees.
And that's again what we've tried to propose.
You tried to, or you did?
We did. This is the maximum amount that we feel that you could justifiably charge.
Point of order. Just what Commissioner Navik is saying, Mr. Orcivia, is he wants to make sure, unless somebody from staff wants to answer this, that the $9,060 is the maximum we are legally allowed to charge per statute.
Per the study, per your plans, per the grant funding that you've provided, that you've.
Simple yes or no?
Yes.
Gemma, would you like to
Correct.
elaborate?
The study governs what we can charge, and then there's a statutory basis for phase-in for certain types of increases. But the study governs. We cannot.
Thank you.
That's the whole point of the study.
Thank you, Commissioner Navik. Please finish your.
Okay. So, Mr. McKinney, what's our timeline in terms of putting any of these grants in jeopardy if we don't move forward with this tonight?
Everything predicated in the 25-26 budget would have to be reviewed, because based on this study as presented by staff this evening, with the grant of $22 million, we predicated the ability to issue the remaining $22 million in debt, and this would help pay for that debt service. So without increasing the rates, we would have to go back and relook at everything.
where do we stand in being able to adjust the base rate higher up and leveling out the usage rate to create the balance?
Could the three of us take a minute outside to discuss what would have to be done? And I could give you that answer.
Mayor?
You have a 5-minute recess, is that good enough?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to
Thank
go
you.
into a 5-minute recess. And I would just suggest that the commission please all remain in one place and not go to the back to avoid any conflict. We're going to give Commissioner Harriet just a minute. Not to call you out. Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Mayor, so that this is not delaying the meeting any further, what we would like to do is we would like to ask for a pause on this and allow the commission to move on to the next topics while we go and actually have more time to look at the numbers.
I have some additional questions that I'd like to add for consideration as well. So, do you want me just to give them to you, or?
You can, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. We just, like I said, don't want to delay the meeting any longer, so we'd like to pause it, go do some calculations, and then come back before you this evening.
Go ahead, finish with that, and then before we go, Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, are you okay with retracting your second? The motioner is okay with retracting her. Hold on, I'll get to you.
Can you repeat your motion again, your changes, Commissioner?
We're going to retract it so that we can push this item further back into the meeting, so that they have more time to go discuss.
The motion was simply to deny.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Howington, go ahead and finish the other questions, and then if there are other commissioners on here that would like some other questions on top of what Commissioner Nabik and Commissioner Howington are asking, now's the time to do it, so when it does come back, they can come back with some answers. So go ahead.
So my first one ties to the impact fees, because obviously impact fees have been a very high priority item for us. We've seen SB 180 has caused legal challenges for various communities to increase their impact fees, so we need to make sure that whatever we enact is not falling under that more restrictive or burdensome, and that it definitely follows the statutes. Outside of that, when the analysis was done, was there an anticipation that our population is going to grow by about 15% over the next 5 years? So that was factored in. Because this is, looking at it year over year, over the next 5 years, that's a total of about 30% increase. When you take each year and looking back, it's an astronomical increase. And I believe over the past 5 years, we only had between 15 to 20% inflation. And so that concerns me significantly, that we are increasing exponentially over what most people would consider the future inflation rate to be. We're already starting to see GDP movement and things like that that's causing our economy to kind of rebound. And that could potentially push us into a de-inflation position. And if that's the case, and we're on a target to increase by 30%, and there might only be 10% inflation rate over that time frame, is this something that's sustainable? This is a huge cost. I am one of those few houses that's on reclaimed and sewer. So I feel that pain. And when you take my, what is it, $65 base rate or whatever, and all of a sudden now it's going to be almost $90 in 5 years, that's a lot of money for the base rate. So these are concerns that I definitely have over this escalating table that we have. It is spread out. I did notice that it drops down to 3% conveniently the same year as the election. But, you know, that's kind of a side note. But it is a concern. 30% over 5 years is a lot of money. Thank you.
Mr. Civic, can you answer the SB 180 question, please?
Can you?
She wants to know if the increase in the impact fees is affected by SB 180.
As long as our impact fees are in line with Florida statutes on impact fees, it should not be.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for the clarification on, is because we've seen a couple lawsuits, I think, come through in various communities related to impact fees.
All right. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and, if it's okay with the commission, can I get a simple majority if we're okay with moving this item to just before the city attorney comments? All those in favor? Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move to a request for consideration of all reappointments, appointments to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, and I'm going to let Joyce kind of tell us how that's going to go down before I start calling folks.
So these appointments are not done by district or anything like that, just basically by their qualifications. So we've previously given you guys all the applications. We've given you the chart of what they qualify for. We need a minimum of, I believe, 8 and a maximum of 11. And I believe they've been working on 8 for some time.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
So we're going to call, it's one commission, okay, I got you. And then the rest, whoever pushes it first. So we're going to go ahead and do it that way. We'll start with District 1, Commissioner Harriet.
So are we going to go one at a time?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve sorry, there's a different order to Rachel Amoroso.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet to approve Ms. Amoroso. Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, you're on next.
Is it allowed, how many do we have right now that are, I'm sorry to ask you this, but how many do we have right now that are on the board that reapplying?
These
So
right here.
Rachel was already mentioned.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
5?
Yeah, Jean Armstrong, Jody Penna-Castaldi.
Is it, to make it easier for you, is it easier to make a motion to approve all those that are filing for reelection?
You could.
Can we name them off first?
We're going to name them on, then we'll.
So
do
the ones that
motion.
want to be reappointed
It's right
are
here.
Rachel Amoroso, Jean Armstrong, Jody Penna-Castaldi, Sylvia Hayes, and Michelle Wallace-Chin. Those are the 5.
All right, we have District 1 has chosen Rachel Amoroso. Commissioner Santiago?
Jean.
Hold on. Could everyone please press your mic so I can turn everybody on?
So, question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
My motion to nominate the rest of the current board members that are reelected, that's not approved?
We currently have everyone nominating one person.
Right, but my question is, we used to do this before, can we all lump everyone that is currently on the board?
You could do that, yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So besides Rachel, which was nominated by Commissioner Davison, I would like to nominate the rest of the other 5 or 4.
Second. Well, do I need to exchange my motion?
No, yours is good because I'm nominating,
She's including yours in it.
no.
Come back and get a pick,
I'm the original motioner.
right?
That is the point. He's the original motioner, so.
What is the original motioner? What the hell is that? When does this new word come up?
We've literally done that every.
Okay, somebody explain to me what just happened here.
So the Vice Mayor's request is to include 4 people for her picks.
I'll change my motion to include appointment of all
5.
There you go. That want to seek reappointment. There you go.
Perfect. Now I'm going to go down the line, and hopefully I won't get interrupted again. We have a motion, but I want to include everyone so we can do this clear and simple and get everything out of the way.
Yeah, but he needs a second for his motion.
Okay, go ahead. Good. I get it, yes.
So
Commissioner Nabik, you're next.
I second
Okay.
Harriet's motion.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet and a second by Commissioner Nabik to reappoint all those that wanted to be appointed. Before we start voting, is there any public comment on this? Okay. Let's go ahead and go for a vote.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, there's 5, so we got 6 more to go. How much?
At least 3 more.
Okay.
That's your minimum.
Perfect.
So
So everyone should be allowed to get at least one person.
there you go.
Okay, got it. We'll start again with Commissioner Harriet since he's in District 1. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Nabik.
He got his already. Now you go to Maritza.
All right. Commissioner Santiago, you're next. Hold on, let me go ahead and turn you on. Say that again.
I'd like to appoint Ashley Hill.
There's a motion
Second.
to appoint Ashley Hill, second by Commissioner Nabik. Can we please vote? All right. Commissioner Howington, you are next. You are the vice mayor. You always go second to last like I do. Go ahead, Commissioner Howington. Let me go and turn you on. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and pass it to the next person, as several of the people that I was going to nominate have already been nominated
Okay.
as part of the mass.
Thank you. Commissioner Nabik, you're next.
Timothy Griffith.
We have a motion to approve Kathy Griffith.
Timothy.
Timothy Griffith, I'm sorry. Timothy Griffith. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez. Can we please vote? Motion passes 6-0. At this time, Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, you're next. Hold on, let me turn you on. There.
Okay, since Nabik took my I will appoint Grace Mojica.
There's a motion to appoint Grace Mojica.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Nabik. Can we please vote? All right, next, I'll go ahead and appoint Joseph Somerville. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Nabik. Please vote.
Who did you appoint?
Joseph Somerville. How many more do we have, City Clerk?
Just
To have the maximum number, that way, because we know we get some, two more. Is the commission okay with stopping here, or do we want to fill all
I'll
11?
give Commissioner Howington a chance.
Commissioner Arlington, would you like to at least fill one in?
Yes.
Hold on, let me turn on your microphone. Go ahead.
I'd like to move to add Brandy Whedon.
So motion to approve Brandy Whedon.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez. Can we please vote? Motion passes 6-0.
There you go.
All right.
We got one more. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Maria Pizarro.
There's a motion to approve Maria
Pizarro.
Nazaro. Is there a second?
Sure. Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Nabik.
We always complain about not having a quorum on our board, so let's max that sucker out. Make sure-
Oh, Vice Mayor, they're waiting for you. All right, motion passed 6-0. We have all 11, correct? All right, we're going to go ahead and move to action item 9C as in Charlie, request for discussion, Rhode Island Avenue Extension, city-led versus county-led. I believe this is a city attorney, or is this a Jordan Smith? There you go, Mr. Smith. There you go, you're on.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, Vice Mayor. The item before you is the discussion regarding the proposed Rhode Island extension. Staff is seeking direction on how the project should move forward. Staff is requesting City Commission direction on project delivery. This direction is whether the city should lead the project or coordinate with Volusia County for a county-led approach. This direction is needed before any further planning or coordination occurs. The project would extend Rhode Island Avenue to improve connectivity in this area. The extension would connect Veterans Memorial Parkway, Normandy Boulevard, Pineview Estates, and Wolfpack Run. The intent is to improve traffic circulation and support long-term transportation planning. Under a city-led approach, the city would control the project design, schedule, and access, but would be responsible for construction and maintenance and long-term maintenance. Under a county-led approach, the county would design, build, and maintain the roadway with potential access to county funding, but the city would have less control. A county-led approach would require an interlocal agreement. There is no immediate fiscal impact associated with tonight's discussion. Based on commission direction, staff will either begin city-led planning or coordinate with Volusia County on a county-led approach. And that's city-led versus county-led. We're just seeking direction.
All right, Commissioner Nabik, you're on first.
Commissioner Harriet, have you guys had discussion at TPO regarding this?
Could you turn on your microphone?
Okay.
Oh, he said no. Go ahead.
Do you have a concern one way or the other from a TPO standpoint?
From a TPO standpoint, from the discussions that we've had so far, this has not come up across any of the agendas or discussions from TPO.
Okay, then my
Commissioner,
I'm sorry.
Matt does participate in the advisory committee, so I would ask if they have had discussions from that perspective.
Yeah, I'm on the TCC, and I had a discussion with Colleen Nicholin, the executive director, today after the TCC meeting, and this is not eligible to be on the 5-year list of priority projects because that list only has to do with traffic operations like turn lanes, signals, things like that. So this isn't in the 5-year capital improvement list of projects for the TPO.
Okay, so number one is just because it's not doesn't mean it can't be. So that needs to happen.
Yep.
Okay, and we need to flex on that. That needs to happen. So be clear about that. This is a huge project that interfaces with the I-4 lanes.
Beyond the ultimate.
Beyond ultimate, okay? There's no way that we have the staff to be able to manage this project. We would have to contract it out. It's a multi-jurisdictional project. It's the county, it's Orange City, and Deltona, and at least the MPO.
Mm-hmm.
So I strongly would urge the commission to let us do an interlocal agreement with the county, as long as we maintain in that agreement that we have a seat at the table and we can have discussion and have fair representation and input if we have concerns or want to give direction. But it's imperative that this be moved up on the TPO's planning list, and because they're going to play. This is a very regional project. Even Metro Plan, I can't believe that. Is this? Do you know? Is it on Metro Plan's radar?
I believe it's in the long-range transportation plan, but it's not in the 5-year.
Commissioner Nabik, I don't mean
Priority
to interrupt you. I believe it was under 10-year plan.
Okay,
that they're looking
but
at.
what's Jordan? Do we know what their timetable for this is?
For
design, for all the design, right? We're talking about design at this point?
Well, yeah, at this point, from Normandy to Howland would be the part we're talking about. We would have to do design, some right-of-way acquisition,
Okay.
and then, of course, construction.
So the importance of it being in the plan, getting it in the plan, is obviously making access to dollars available for us, okay? So that's why it's important that we've got the seat at the table, but for what you're asking for a vote tonight, please, can we, if you're ready for a motion, I'll make it.
Go ahead.
Make the motion that we do the interlocal agreement, let county take the lead on this. As
And
long
we're
as we have
talking
a
about
seat at
this
the table.
portion, we're talking about the purple portion right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all got to tie together. It's all got to interface. So the county is best equipped to have their staff work with our staff, and they're probably going to contract this anyway. And so if we'll do that interlocal agreement, that'll flow better.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Nabik. Is there a second? There's a second by Commissioner Santiago. Before we start going into the different conversations, because I know the board is lit up, is there any public comment on this?
Albert Bryan, please.
Albert Bryan, Deltona. This has been on the books for what, 12 years now, that I know of? Maybe a little bit longer, yeah. I think that what I saw in the agenda item I have a problem with, because if you take this directly to Wolfpack, you're going to cause a racetrack on Catalina. If you take and put a light there, you might slow it down a little bit. But not to bring it out to Howland basically takes everything away from it that we always wanted, to be able to relieve traffic from Howland. That's what this was all about, was to relieve traffic on Howland Boulevard. By taking it away from Howland Boulevard, what are you relieving? Can anybody actually answer that? What are you relieving? You're relieving nothing, except for you're adding traffic now to Catalina, all the way to Wolfpack. That's all you're doing. And most of the kids that go to that school, you're going to be turning from Howland to what? Wolfpack to get to this. And you got kids every morning and every afternoon there. You're creating a problem by doing that. If this goes forward like this, the way it was written in the agenda, this is going to be bad news. You're not going to actually help traffic. You're going to cause more of a problem right there at the hospital or high school. Think very good before you actually do this. I don't have a problem with this going over to the county, but what I have a problem with is all of a sudden they want to come out on Wolfpack. Who does that actually benefit most? DeMarsh. Nobody else but DeMarsh. It doesn't help traffic flow. It helps his traffic flow, not ours. It was said a long time ago that if it comes out on Wolfpack, there would be accident after accident after accident there because of one problem. You got school drop-off in the morning, you got school pickup in the afternoon. That's where your problem's going to come from with this. Think about this before you actually do this that way. Bring it out to Howland. Now, I also understand that that little road right there next to the racetrack is probably not wide enough. You're going to have to make it a little wider. Think about that. Because, as Mr. Novich said, you don't have an engineer on staff that's worth a squat for doing this. I have no faith in the city being able to build this properly. None at all. You came close to saying it that way. So the problem at the end of the day is you don't have staff to be able to go through the state, the county, Orange City, and us. That's where the real problem is. Turn it over to the state or to the county.
Kathy Bryan, please. Last one.
Kathy Bryan, Deltona. I too have an issue with the Wolfpack Run, and one of the reasons is what Mr. Bryan mentioned was the kids dropping off. And here's what I always saw when I took my kids to school, is parents wouldn't go into the gate and go around the drive to drop their kids off. No, they would drop them off in the middle of the street, in the middle of traffic. So if we increase the traffic through that area, that is going to be a huge issue. And I think whatever we can do to get this done sooner, because it has been so long, and I agree with putting it with the county, but don't leave yourselves out of the say. You're going to turn it over to the county. Make sure that Deltona and its residents have the proper input on this, because that area is already a mess. The traffic lights don't flow well. You've got that weave pattern coming on from Graves, and people trying to immediately get over left to turn into that neighborhood there. That place is a mess. So whatever is going to work best to relieve some of that and reduce that congestion, accidents, et cetera, is what you guys need to think about. So thank you.
That is public comment.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor. In just a minute, let me finish. We have a motion on the floor to send to the county under the conditions of keeping, this is what Commissioner Navik said, keeping Deltona having a seat at the table, and it was seconded by Commissioner Santiago. Jordan, then we'll go to Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez.
Just for the record, so no alignments have been set. It would still have to be approved by Volusia County Council, and then also Deltona City Commission with the interlocal agreement, if that's the direction we're taking. So in terms of WILPAC or wherever the alignment comes out, that still needs to be approved.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, then Commissioner Harriet, then Commissioner Santiago.
Thank you, Mayor. What was the original plan? Where was Rhode Island supposed to come out of before it was directed to Wolfpack?
There were also discussions to bring it out by the racetrack as well.
That's what I remember. You know, I do a lot of work with Deltona High School, and I can tell you that sometimes in the morning when I'm coming in, I'm waiting to make that right turn, and I'm still by the racetrack. I'm on that line waiting to make that right turn. I think Wolfpack, and like you said, decision has to be made by both sides, but I think Wolfpack is the wrong road to pick, to add more traffic to, because that's where all our students come in and out of school. I mean, I don't even know the buses going through the middle, so it doesn't affect the school buses. But yes, and the other thing is, if we partner with the city, with the county, what happens to the funds that were already allocated from the city of Deltona to, for that project?
We could present a big check to the county.
Exactly.
We have $15 million to give to the county to help with the project.
But we still have to ask permission to be added to the table, right?
No, we've had conversations with the county, and they would be open to an interlocal agreement.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just a quick point of order to Vice Mayor's point. Can we make sure if that's what we end up doing today, there needs to be a strict line in that check that says that that money can only be used for this project?
So planning
Flat out, full stop.
So planning staff will work with legal and drafting this interlocal with the county.
Okay. Commissioner Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. There's a lot more at play than, excuse me. There's a lot more here at play than what's been brought up by the commission or what's been brought up by a couple of the residents. A couple of the other things discussions that TPO has been having are moving forward and advancing the studies for beyond the ultimate for this area. And some of the things that could possibly include, all possibilities, why it hasn't been briefed on anybody yet, are an express lane interchange at Rhode Island, a commercial interchange at Rhode Island, nothing, just an overpass at Rhode Island. But these are all things that beyond the ultimate has been advanced and bumped up forward to begin those studying components to see what that traffic assessment does. And I think that we need to make sure that whatever we do aligns with the beyond the ultimate plan, because if we're sitting here looking at Wolfpack Run versus the road next to the racetrack, and we're not going to put in, there's not going to be an interchange at Rhode Island and I-4, now we've just diverted traffic to where? Through a neighborhood, because they're going to drive down Normandy. We're going to hear complaints. Commissioner Vasquez is going to hear complaints all day because we've just quadrupled traffic down Normandy to get to Saxon, which is already an overloaded. So all that to say, there's a lot of moving pieces here. So I think it's really, really important that we don't try to rush this. I understand that this has been on the books, discussed for 12 years, and I am sorry that the city has not moved forward with this in the past. At this point, I am grateful that we haven't, because I don't think anybody envisioned beyond the ultimate back when this began. Some of the other things that I would like to ensure, and this is what our $15 million goes to buy, is that we have say in the way that this road is designed. We have had workshops and many discussions on possibly a center of commerce, a downtown, whatever we want to talk about on Rhode Island, and the walkability of that area. So we need to be able to impose our position on oversized sidewalks, enhanced street lighting, enhanced landscaping, so that we can actually bring that vision to fruition and not just put in a straight road with a street light every 200 yards that we've now created a safety problem with pedestrians. And this was a discussion that was had during the synergy discussions, during at least 2 workshops that I'm aware of. So there's a lot. This is not a very simple thing. I don't have any issues with the county leading this. I have full faith in our staff. I don't think that, I know that we just hired a city engineer. I don't have any questions about that. This is just a massive project with a lot of jurisdictions, and the county being the county and over all of the jurisdictions, or having that kind of umbrella authority, I think is the right place. The other thing that I want to make sure that we maintain is that the portions within the city limits that Deltona has the maintenance responsibility on. And it's not just about adding an expense to us, it's about adding the ability for us to fix it and maintain it to the level and the standard that our residents demand. Because I hear a lot about problems on Howland, about problems on Saxon, about problems in the road, about problems with the landscaping. And I get frustrated, just like everybody I'm sure gets frustrated hearing it, saying that that's not a city road. We don't have authority to fix it. I want to make sure that we have that authority. I want to make sure that we can maintain it to the level and the standard that our residents have demanded from us, and I think that will only increase. So that's my piece. Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Santiago.
Thank you, Mayor. Yep, I agree 110% with what you just said. We need to, and with Commissioner Novick as well, we need to make, I'm in full support of the county taking over this huge project. However, we definitely need a seat at that table every time with an interlocal agreement. So Jordan, you got this, right? We need to have a seat at that table, because we have to protect our residents. We have to protect our students. We got to make sure everything is done and we are aware of what's going on with the landscaping, with not having that road go connect to Wolfpack Run. But my agreement, yes, they're better equipped. County is better equipped, and I support it for the county. So thank you.
And staff will provide updates on the project as well as we move forward.
Commissioner Howington.
My concern is I just want to make sure that the 15 million that we do put in actually goes to Deltona, and it remains within, that they use it on Deltona, and that they don't funnel it off to another stretch in another city. That's my concern.
Understood, and staff will work with legal in making sure that's in the interlocal agreement.
Thank you. Oh.
I do have one more question.
Commissioner Harriet, please, let's wrap it up.
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, the last thought that I have is that we've discussed Wolfpack Run. There's been comments about the racetrack road. I want to make sure that we have an open mind to this and we see what the traffic studies say will be the most beneficial, because if Lord knows that the Bryants are going to be right back here if we put in a road and it's nothing but safety concerns next to the high school, and it's nothing but traffic congestion and doesn't actually accomplish the goal. And rightfully so. That's not picking on anybody. That's, rightfully so. So that's all.
All right, thank you. Can we please go ahead and I'll ask the city attorney to read this request and the motion in the second. Go ahead. She's coming.
This is the request for discussion on the Rhode Island Avenue extension. And the request that they're asking is the motion that you'd like to make, whoever the mover
It
is.
was Commissioner Novick and seconded by Commissioner Santiago. All right, you can go ahead and vote.
Mayor?
Hold on, I'll get to you. Go ahead.
Mayor, there was a lot going through between the motion and stuff like that. And I know there's been rumors going around saying that I don't know what I'm doing because I always ask to repeat the motion. But you know what? It's not a stupid thing to ask for something
not.
to be repeated.
I can repeat it.
So can you please repeat the motion again so that we all understand
Absolutely. The
what
motion,
has been, what are we approving here?
yes, the motion by Commissioner Nabik is to let the county lead the project with conditions that the city has a seat at the table and the check is restricted to specifically City of Deltona area.
Motion.
Yeah, well,
She's working quickly.
Just my notes. That's all that is.
are you okay with that, Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. The motion passes 6-0. We're going to go ahead to action item 9D, which is request for approval of resolution. If I can please have the city attorney read that.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I want to be clear before I read the normal resolution title. I want to read the background on this item. So the City of Deltona adopted ordinance
There's a
number...
point of order by Commissioner Howington.
I believe the meeting has a stop time of 9 o'clock. Can we go ahead and extend it until after we complete
We
either 9E or?
Can extend it till 9:30, which is per policy. So do you want to make a motion to extend it till 9:30?
Yes, but I'd really like that we get the water back before us before we
Well,
close it out.
hopefully we'll get there. So do you want to
Okay.
make the motion?
I'll make a motion to extend the meeting until 9:30.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Harriet. A simple vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right. We're extending until 9:30.
Thank you so much. So the city adopted ordinance number 29-2025, which imposed a temporary moratorium on June 30th, 2025. On November 4th, the attorney for Howland Holdings Group sent correspondence to the city alleging that the moratorium is prohibited pursuant to Senate Bill 180. There was additional correspondence received, which is included in your packets. This is the third item in there. It was sent December 23rd, 2025. This triggered this item being put on this agenda. And we are seeking direction if you want us to take action. So I want to just be clear about that. We prepared a resolution, and I'm going to read the title, but you are not required to take action. You can hear this, discuss it, approve the resolution, deny the resolution, or do nothing. So we'll talk through all these things, but before I read the title, I just want to be clear. We just want your direction, and we will do whatever it is you direct us to do. So this is resolution number 2026-05, a resolution of the City of Deltona, Florida, acknowledging that ordinance 29-2025 is void ab initio pursuant to Chapter 2025-190 of Florida statutes, providing for implementation and an effective date. With that, I would encourage you all to have a discussion.
All right.
No motion, I think, is required for this discussion. You can have an open discussion, and then if you want to take action, you can make a motion now or later.
All right. Following the way we've been doing this, let's go with a motion, then we'll do public comment, and then we'll do the discussion. So Commissioner Harriet, you're lit up.
I'll make a motion to withdraw the moratorium pursuant to the allegations made within this resolution, resolution number 2026-05.
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet. Commissioner Santiago, you're on the board.
I would just urge you to amend it to, I move to approve resolution number 2026-05, because the resolution does everything you want to do.
Are you good with that, Commissioner?
You want me to repeat it?
Please.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-05.
Okay, Commissioner Santiago, you were next on the board.
Second.
All right, is there any public comment?
Yes. Tim Blodgett, please.
And then when we come back, Commissioner Nabik, you're first on the... Turn on the microphone, please. You're on.
The phrase that comes to mind is, are we beating a dead horse? please let SB 180 die. Whatever kind of death it needs to die. And let it die tonight. That's it.
John B.
Hello. I'm John. I'm in District 6 for about 40 years. I'm sorry, Commissioner Howington, you don't get another award tonight. They didn't threaten you in this latest threatening letter. The latest threatening letter is, we'll give you 10 more days. You better pull out of this. This is a threat and a joke. If they follow through, they have to wait until March to do any filing. This is all about time. And the time of importance is November. There'll be 5 seats opened up here. Now these people, these developers are applicants. As soon as Commissioner Lully left, within days, they were over at the school next door, the Christian school, gloating. We've got commission votes now. We're putting a subdivision in here. And let's make it be perfectly clear, that's what this is all about. So, I mean, yeah, 5 seats are going to change in November. They want to hurry up because their fear right now is if they don't get started before March, there's 2 months of planning and zoning, 2 months of council meetings, something could happen, they might miss their boat. They've been trying this for 7 years. This is just another tactic. You need to just drop this, say forget it, it's a joke. Sue us if you want, put it on the pile, as my hero over here says. Because that's all it's about. They're just trying to hurry up, push the process, tell the city how to run their business. So there's one person over here on the end that shouldn't be able to vote at all, in my opinion, because let me count the votes that he got. 0. Nobody voted for him in District 6. This one over here, his family works for these applicants. She should recuse herself, and there's more up here that ought to consider what you're voting on. And I'm sorry to be kind of negative about this. I'd love to come up here and be flowery, but you pushed me in a corner on most of this crap. So, you know, the other thing is you talk about transparency in here. All the public speaking's been cut and out of the not recorded and shortened and books are gone. But I think you must have put in your new golden book that the definition of transparent is a man who can have a baby. See you later.
That ends public comment.
Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm being asked to make a decision on SB 180, which hasn't even been finalized up at the state level. They're still being discussed. What they want to change, what's wrong, what's not right. So it hasn't even been agreed upon as how SB 180 should be read or should be followed, or what the law really means to us. So here we are again, having to take a vote on SB 180. And it's sad. It's a sad situation. We are outnumbered. We will continue to be outnumbered up here at this dais. So I just want to make everybody aware that I have no other choice but to go along with the ride. And like Tim said, let it just die and give everybody what they want. Let's go with the vote.
All right, can we please vote? Motion passes 6-0. Can I please have the city attorney read section or action item 9E as in Edward?
Thank you so much. So this is a resolution. I'm going to read the title. and then obviously happy to discuss as needed. This is resolution number 2026-06. Resolution of the City of Deltona, Florida, approving the settlement of all claims made by Howland Station Condo Developers LLC, ratifying certain property transactions in accordance with the settlement agreement, directing the city manager to schedule a city commission workshop, amending the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, providing for implementation, severability, scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
All right, this time I'll entertain a motion and then a second so we can go to public comment and then discussion. Commissioner Nabik.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-06.
Commissioner Howington.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Nabik, second by Commissioner Howington. Is there any public comment?
Pat Blodgett, please. Tim Blodgett, please. Okay. Well, you're up next then, so.
Mr. Blodgett, would you like to go ahead of Ms. Blodgett? Oh, okay. All right, is there anybody else?
Just the two.
He's back.
Ms. Barker, if it's okay with you, when Ms. Blodgett is done, can we take the microphone up to Mr. Blodgett? Can you click on the button, please, so I can turn on the microphone?
Okay, is this because of SB 180 that we have to pay over $3 million? For the Howland Station crossing, right?
Ask your question, and then I'll make sure we write it down and we'll get answers.
Okay. Because of Howland Station crossing, we have to pay over $3 million to the builder? Is that because of SB 180? Okay, then are we going to get an explanation to why we have
Ms.
to pay?
Blodgett, I just said, just ask your question, and I'll make sure we get an answer. That's what I said,
okay.
sorry.
That was it, I have.
I believe Mr. Blodgett was next.
I can see why you don't want to have a discussion before you get public comment. 3.125 million for a settlement for mitigation. Who do we have on our side? Mickey Mouse? Without knowing more about the details of this, there really isn't a whole lot I can say about it other than, I mean, it's already been litigated. We got to pay it. If we got to pay it, pay it. If we don't, fight it. I think somebody's ass should swing in the wind for this. And that's all I got to say.
That is public comment.
Thank you. If I can just have the city attorney go through, and the public is deserving, obviously, of knowing what's going on.
Yes.
I don't know if we're allowed to, obviously, after everything's over, we can disclose sunshine stuff or the shade meeting, but at least what is public, if you can please explain to the public.
For sure, Mayor, yes. And this is a complicated issue. We obviously did have 2 executive sessions earlier today.
You're a smart lady. You can make it very uncomplicated. I have faith.
I'm going to do my best. I will tell everybody I tried very hard to make a very clear memo. So there is a memorandum of law that we included in the packet that really walks everyone through this, but I'm going to just, from the 10,000-foot view, I'll drill down, and then, Mayor, you let me know if you want more detail. So the Howland Station Condo Developers LLC versus City of Deltona is one case that's currently in the 7th Judicial Circuit. It is set for trial in about 3 weeks. It's the 2nd week of February. So if this settlement is not approved, we go to trial. There is another case. It is a Burt Harris Act case brought by the same party, the same plaintiff, against the city. It is early in its stage, and so we're still in the, we have not we have not replied yet, but that is a separate matter, but related to the same property and the same project. And this project is identified as two different tax parcels. I've got the titles in here, but it's property that's located on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Howland Boulevard. It's the two parcels that are just on the other side of the center. So the road leading into the center, the two vacant parcels on either side right before you get to the center, those are the two pieces of land we're talking about. So there's two cases here. We were required to go to court-ordered mediation, which we did on January 6, 2026. And at that mediation, it was an all-day mediation, we came up with a global settlement. And part of the reason we wanted to explain everything in this memo, and again, I'm going to try to drill down, is the two cases are separate but related, and they're related to the same property and the same project. So in the underlying litigation, which is the Howland Station Condo Developers LLC v. City of Deltona case, there are two counts for relief. They share the same fact pattern, and they're related to the city's adoption of Ordinance 02-2025 from December of 2024, which, as you might recall, that was the Live Local ordinance that you all passed in order to better to comply with Florida statute with respect to Live Local. And it's related to the Howland Station's application for development of the subject property. There is a portion of the property that includes a portion of land, which is sort of the wooded area, portion of the wooded area of the properties we're talking about, which is subject to an agreement that the city had between the Faith Bible Church of the Christian and Missionary Alliance and the city, which required city consent for any development or transfer of any part of that land. Without city consent, the church property was conveyed to Howland Station in October of 2024. This has been the subject of much discussion and debate with the principals and attorneys for Howland Station developers, and with you all and with us over the last year or so. And the position in the litigation that Howland Station developers has taken is that their application was deemed complete and the old Live Local ordinance should apply. And it's the city's position that the application was incomplete and the new Live Local ordinance from December 2024 should apply. Now, then Senate Bill 180 passed. And Senate Bill 180, as we all know, has a lot of regulations with respect to more stringent land use regulations. And the part that impacted this litigation is that it was retroactive to August 2024. And so because we passed the Live Local Act in December 2024, the plaintiff in this case took the position that Senate Bill 180 invalidated that second Live Local Act ordinance, which was passed in December 2024, and they amended their complaint to add that as a second count. So that case is set for trial. We have to go to mediation. The court requires it. We go to mediation, and we discuss all the issues that one discusses at mediation. We both aggressively put forth our positions, and frankly, and they're here, so I don't want to speak for them, but I think we were both all ready for trial. We've been in depositions in the weeks leading up to mediation. I think the day before mediation, we were doing depo prep. The day after mediation, I think we had a depo set, and then one the day after that. So we've been gearing up hard, and we were going to trial. There is then this second case, which is the Burt-Harris Act case. And the Burt-Harris Act case is related to the underlying issue. And in that case, Howland Station has taken the position that effectively there's been a diminishment of value of the property. Certainly the city disagrees. And that diminished value is 1.170. They also have a demand for attorney's fees as part of their Burt-Harris Act claim. Now, I'm going to step back again. The first case, Howland Station, was not covered by our insurance. So the city has been funding the litigation itself, so paying out of pocket for all litigation costs, experts, depositions, court reporters, the whole kit and caboodle. The Burt-Harris Act case was picked up by FMIT, our insurance carrier for the Burt-Harris claim, and that's, again, early on. But there is a cap that FMIT has on that policy of $300,000 for that claim. So it's eroding as work is done. So we have these two cases. We have the real costs that we're incurring for Howland Station developer case, and then we have the anticipated costs that we will incur for the Burt Harris Act case, because Burt Harris Act claims are long and laborious. The estimate by the firm that FMIT gave us for that case was that it would take between 1.5 years and 2 years, and certainly there's an opinion that we would erode that $300,000 over that time, and then certainly if there was any recovery made by Howland Station, it would be above that, and it would be on the city. And so here we are, we have these two cases. There's real clocks that are running on attorneys, and it's not just one attorney, it's running on two cases. So at mediation, again, we go back and forth, and one of the things that we did on the city side is we really sat down and sharpened our pencils to figure out what is the real cost of litigating these two cases all the way through. As an aside, and you all know this, but for the benefit of the public, theoretically, potentially, and I'm sure you guys know this, we were going to bring a quiet title action as well, and so there's other real costs associated with bringing that action, which would be a third case to attempt to bolster the city's position. So I created this table in this memo. It's on page 3 of the memo, and it breaks down the costs, and I'll just walk you through them. So for the Howland Station case, these were the estimated litigation expenses through trial. $195,000 to get us through trial. If Howland Station condo developers prevailed on their Senate Bill 180 challenge, which was the second count of their case, they advised that their attorney's fees would be at least $250,000. And as you all know, if we lose a Senate Bill 180 challenge, which is what this is, and they prevail, we pay their attorney's fees, and our ordinance is struck. So that December 2024 ordinance for the Live Local Act is struck on the basis of their case, if they win that count.
What is your point of order, Commissioner Harriet?
If you don't mind, we all were briefed on this, and I don't want to take any time away from explaining this to the public, situation. But we're getting to the point where we're not going to be able to get to the rest of the agenda items. So if we could we ask staff to make that memo public and
public already.
Push that out and make it available, widely available to everybody, so that we can.
It is.
On.
It's in the packet. It's in the agenda that everyone has. Yeah. It's on the website right now, and everyone can walk through this table. But I'll just say this: the estimate that we provided at the end of the day for potential exposure on legal fees and potentially if we lost all these cases, was about $2.245 million. This is hard cash money above the insurance coverage. We also do have an appraisal that they provided as part of their Burt Harris Act claim. And the appraised value of the property is based on, they had two different numbers, but ballpark it's between 1.5 and 2.1 million, depending on how you look at it. They had a current value and then with entitlements value. So the value of the property exists. Then there is this other 2.25 of potential exposure of hard money that the city will have to spend. And if we spend that money and we lose, we get nothing. We've just spent $2.2 million and get nothing.
Thank you.
So here we would acquire the 5.5 acres. We settle 2 cases. We prevent the third case from having to be initiated and move forward.
Thank you so much. So we've already had public comment. We have a motion and we have a second. If we can go ahead and vote, please. Motion passes 6-0. At this time, we're going to go back to, I'll get to it. Ordinances in public hearing. Where are we at? 9. Action items 9A, thank you. If you can turn on the podium. There you go.
Mayor, Commission, thank you. We were able to go back and take Yes, sir. We were able to go back and look at the 5-year projection, and the previous staff recommendation was 6% on all fees across the board. If we were to go based on what Commissioner Novick stated, it would, for base fee only, for both water, sewer, all base fees, it had to go from 6% to 9.13 if we were to increase the tiers by only 3%. So 9.13% for 5 years would be the necessary increase in base fees to bring in the same amount of revenue in a 5-year period.
Commissioner Harriet, you're up first.
And that's only increasing the base fees?
That's increasing the base fee where they're currently at by 9.13%.
Rather than increasing.
And the consumption would stay at 3% versus the previous 6%. So we looked at it, like I said, we looked at it across all 5 years, and the average needed increase would be 9.13% for base fees.
I understand what Commissioner Novick was getting at, trying to make this equitable across the board. I think the overall goal to really long-term reduce the reduce the position that we're in is we need residents to reduce the water consumption. And I'll say this part out loud because this is the part that everybody wants to be quiet about. But we need to reduce the excess consumption of water from users. Increasing only the base fees and increasing it for everybody doesn't do that. I think that as presented originally with the level funding for 6% and increasing the consumption as well so that those that use more water will then pay more is the most appropriate to help with the long-term plan and long-term operation of the water department, which personally wish we never got into the business, but side note. That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the, I got to go back to
9A.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-169, adopting the updated master fee schedule for fiscal year 2025-2026 that incorporates the utility rate study for water and wastewater.
Motion by Commissioner Harriet. Commissioner Santiago, you're on the board.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santiago. Vice Mayor Avila Vasquez, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, right now at this moment, I think we are rushing into making a decision on this because we want to go home. It's 9:23. I think it's unfair for the residents for us to rush into this. If I'm not mistaken, Commissioner Novick, you had made a suggestion that we review this again. Am I correct? I think that would be the best decision than for us to just make this decision at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's my comment. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Can we please vote? The motion fails, 3-3. Does this commission have an issue with raising the impact fees? Because that seems to be part of, nobody has an issue with. So can I entertain a motion to at least, hold on. Commissioner Novick, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve the impact fees at a rate of 10,000, was it?
Just stated by the study.
No, I want to go a little higher.
We are not allowed to by state statute.
Yes, I can.
Hold on, let me turn on your mic. Click on the mic so I can turn on your mic.
It was $40 more, right?
Yes, sir. So the impact fees are currently $6,475. Mr. Mance has recommended increasing them to $9,060. That's the maximum that he can support based on the study.
Gemma?
Anything above that would be at the commission's
Gemma?
request.
Finance is correct. As long as we are aligned with the study and statute, we are fine.
All right, I'll go with the study then.
And also,
Hold on, guys. Stop.
I'll go with the study. That's my motion.
So there's a motion by
For the
Commissioner.
impact fees only.
Yes, there's a motion by Commissioner Novick to increase the impact fees to $9,060 per study, and there was a second by Commissioner Howington. Can we please vote, and then we'll continue with the rest? The motion passes 6-0. Did you want to say something else?
Yes, sir.
Mr. McKinney, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. In order to comply with our bond resolutions and our grant application that we currently have outstanding, based on what we have in the fee resolution, on page 8, it talks about the automatic user rate adjustments. Mr. Mance is very confident that if we at least adopt the increase that's based on the engineering news record, ENR, which is currently at 1.6% increase, which is very similar to the CPI, we would at least be in compliance with the requirements of all of our granting agencies that require a increase to be in, to be in compliance with our requirements.
Commissioner Novick, you're on the board still. Did you want?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Harriet, you're up next.
Does that, so if we do the 1.6 now, that just pushes us off next year to a larger increase?
Yes, but I will also be coming back at mid-year with having to relook at all operations and currently budgeted capital and CIP.
Point of order, before you make any motion, can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Can we, and if not, I'll hand the gavel over. I'm not afraid to make a motion, but.
I've only got one more question. I'm not planning on making a motion.
No. So if anybody who makes the motion, they could put to approve the 1.6% increase with stipulations that the rest gets put on a workshop. And if it takes 3-4 workshops, it doesn't matter. But we can't keep kicking the can down the road because we're in the same predicament we are as the past commissions. I think the last time a commissioner had the backbone to say, hey, this needs to get done was actually Commissioner Novick, because I remember he got criticized, and I was guilty of one of those people that was criticizing you. So I'll say that, finish your question, and then I'll entertain a motion.
If we decide to push this next decision or any other decisions off, what will the impact to funding, bond rating, what will be the financial impact to outside?
I will have to come back to you at a later date, next commission meeting, with that answer.
All right.
No, so that, I've changed my mind if that's okay. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 1.6%. Was that the ER?
Yes, sir. It is the, if the engineering news record, ENR construction cost index from
ENR.
January.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to adopt the 1.6% ENR from January
Yes, sir.
with the stipulation that this be put back on a, I'd like to see this on a priority workshop and presented with the capital 5-year plan.
Yes, sir.
With the rate study as well.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to see a list of projects that were completed from the last 5 years with the CIP for the next 5 years.
So there's a motion by Commissioner Harriet. Commissioner Novick, you're up next.
I just, would you put a date specific for the workshop?
90 days.
No, a date specific.
February, March, April.
I recognize that this is important to everybody. Let's, by the end of March.
I was going to
I know you want a
Don,
specific.
give me a date.
February 16th.
Thank you.
Done. I agree.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that a second, Commissioner Novick?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can we please go ahead, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Is this 1% on top of the impact fee that we just approved?
Your microphone's off. Impact fee is to the developers, not really to.
The impact fees are only charged to new residential units and commercial units. The only thing our existing customer base at this time will be charged would be 1.6% across all base fees and tiers.
Thank you.
All right, can we please vote? Motion passes 6-1. This time it is 9:30 and the meeting's adjourned.